What's up, YouTube? If you're watching this, my name's Ludon, and welcome to Ludon the Movie Guy, which is my channel on YouTube, where I talk about movies, make movies sometimes, do skits, do all types of random stuff on here. It's a fun channel, so I'm glad you pulled up. Today you're tuning into the series on my channel called Movie Time, where I talk about movies both new and old. If a movie catches my attention and I feel like yapping about it, I just do it on this camera and then post it to the internet for you to see, for your pleasure, I hope. Maybe you enjoy this, maybe you don't, but that's cool. You're here, so I'm assuming you like it a little bit. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about our first A24 movie on this channel, which is strange because I love their movies. But yeah, Lady Bird. It's really good, and you're gonna hear me yap more about it if you stick around. So yeah, let's get straight into the plot breakdown. Since this is an older movie, it's from like 2017, I'm gonna be breaking down and spoiling the entire plot. Just warning you now if you haven't seen the movie, but yeah, it is plot breakdown time. So yeah, plot breakdown time. Okay, so the plot of this movie is pretty simple. We're following basically a teenage girl throughout 1 year of her life. We're following her throughout her senior year in high school in Sacramento, California between 2002 and 2003. And I did the math. That means Lady Bird would be like 40 years old exactly by this year. Anyways, we follow Christine, who goes by Lady Bird, as she navigates her last year of high school. And the film opens up with her and her mom after what's presumably a college tour or something along those lines, chilling in a hotel or a motel room. And then they dip. While they're on the road, Lady Bird and her mom, they get into it in a sequence that opens the film. They have a large argument, which ends in Lady Bird hopping out of the car, physically opening the door and rolling out onto the road. She breaks her arm, and we pick up back at the Catholic school with Lady Bird and her best friend Julie. And Julie is played by actually Jonah Hill's sister, Beanie Feldstein, I think is how you say her name. Lady Bird herself is played by Saoirse Ronan. And like I said, the opening scene with Saoirse Ronan and Lady Bird's mom, the chemistry there is amazing. Both actresses are just going back and forth in such an engaging way. Every scene with both these actresses is amazing, but I'll get more into that later. Once we catch up with Lady Bird and Julie, they're actually auditioning for their school's theater program, which comes after Lady Bird talks to her counselor, and her counselor's like, hey, because Lady Bird's whole motivation is she's trying to leave Sacramento. She's trying to go to the other side of the world, or no, the other side of the nation. She's trying to go to New York and go to colleges out there, but her mom wants her to stay in Sacramento and stay near her family. Her mom and her kind of have a very strange relationship. It's the emotional core of the entire film, but their relationship is definitely rocky, and this college decision is a major factor in that. But yeah, Lady Bird and her friend Julie, they audition for this theater this theater show coming up. Can't remember the name of the play exactly. Haven't seen it myself, but I have been involved in theater at some level. I did theater my junior year of high school, so the sequences where they were doing theater were actually pretty reminiscent for me.
Can I have your name, please?
Ludon Masana.
And what are we doing?
Stalking whatever the fuck his last name is. Watch this shit right here. I'm gonna pull some W Riz.
I thought that was someone else, bro.
We caught that shit on camera. You got pranked, motherfucker.
What?
You got pranked. You just got pranked. Bitch got pranked. Bitch got pranked. Yo. Cut the camera, bro. Cut the camera. Cut the fucking camera. When I first saw the movie, I was like 12 years old. I did theater for like all of middle school, so they were also kind of resonant back then too. A lot of weird aspects about this film kind of just gel with me personally. Anyways, the show is put on like a month or two later because they have to rehearse, but in the process of rehearsing, Lady Bird starts falling for her first romantic interest in the film, Danny. And Danny is this corny, like wholesome little nice Catholic boy. But yeah, Danny's a cool dude, and he's a really good actor. Like, and that's part of the reason why I think Lady Bird falls for him, because he's so dedicated to that. Their relationship blooms literally. Like there's a whole sequence in a field of flowers or roses where they're like rolling around and running. And I saw a clip, I think in the BTS section of the Blu-ray, where Greta Gerwig was directing that sequence, and the palpable, like the romantic connection between the two characters is palpable, and the two actors are going crazy in that scene. Danny is also probably my favorite romantic interest in the film, because Timothée Chalamet's character, who comes later, is the second romantic interest, and he is a complete asshole. They put on the show, and the show goes pretty well, but what happens after the show is they go to a restaurant, like a fast food place, to chill out and have a good time, and Lady Bird walks in on Danny making out with another man, which is a big revelation for her. And also, Danny's in the closet and going to a Catholic school, so that doesn't really, those two things don't really mix. Another very specific thing about Lady Bird's character, or just her background in general, her family seems to be kind of lower middle class, which comes up a lot throughout the film. Her dad gets laid off actually before the whole thing with Danny occurs, right at prom actually, or no, homecoming. It happens at homecoming or some sort of Halloween dance, because they're in costumes in this sequence where Danny kisses Lady Bird for the first time. This is all before the whole thing is revealed where Danny's actually in the closet. And then once Lady Bird gets home, her parents are having a really serious serious discussion, which kind of offsets her warm demeanor, and then her mom like completely flips out on her. These actresses and their genuine emotion in all of these scenes just kind of build the film up into a ball of complete emotional damage, or not damage, just a ball of complete emotional stuff. It's a lot of emotional stuff. After the whole thing with Danny happens, Lady Bird kind of breaks up with Danny off screen completely. So they stop going around each other, and it's just very awkward and uncomfortable for both of them. Lady Bird also starts to stray away from theater and her closest friend Julie, which, come on man, like Julie is such a wholesome. Let me talk about Julie real quick. Jonah Hill's sister, Beanie Feldstein, plays Julie with such, I don't know why I said Jonah Hill's sister. I'm gonna disassociate her from Jonah Hill. Beanie Feldstein plays Julie in such a tender and warm way, and the character is written in such a warm and wholesome way. Julie is one of those girls who I feel like I would personally like be best friends with in real life. Either that or I'd be dating Julie. I would probably be dating Julie over Lady Bird, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just putting that out there. But Julie is amazing, and to see Lady Bird slowly grow away from her, not even slowly or quickly, because the thing is, throughout the plot, Lady Bird shifts and tries to be something she's not, clearly, which happens in a lot of coming of age stories, but it's presented in a very specific way here. Her mother is a very strong point in her life, and Lady Bird's relationship with her mother, like I said, is like the emotional core of the movie. That comes back at like each part. For example, like I said earlier with Danny, that situation, after they kiss for the first time at the homecoming and Lady Bird gets home, there's a whole scene with her mom where her mom grills into her and basically explains to her that a lot of Lady Bird's friends might be wealthy and more well off and will be able to give Lady Bird's dad a job because Lady Bird's dad just got laid off. And then later on, after Lady Bird goes through something with Timothée Chalamet's character, Lady Bird's mom is there to console her, which is actually kind of sweet compared to what the mom has done in every other scene. But yeah, Lady Bird starts working at a coffee shop actually because her mom tells her to, so she has to get a job at this coffee shop. She meets Timothée Chalamet for the first time, and we see Timothée Chalamet in the background of another scene. What I love about this movie is each character kind of has their own thing going on, which is very realistic. You see characters in the background early on who aren't really significant until they come into Lady Bird's life, because this is all from her perspective. So all of these characters slowly ebb and flow throughout her life because she's a high schooler. She's very focused on herself, like every human being is. Every human being's focused on themselves. So to see these characters actually do their own things in the background, it's really interesting and really well written. But yeah, Timo Chalamet pulls up, and Lady Bird is clearly very fascinated and attracted to him. They have a brief interaction at the coffee shop where Lady Bird goes up to him, and it's almost kind of flirtatious, vaguely, not fully, but it piques Timothée Chalamet's interest, clearly. I can't even remember his character's name. I don't want to remember his character's name because Timothée Chalamet essentially plays an asshole for one, but his character's a dick because his character's basically a pretentious, performative, think of a film bro, or like a generic conspiracy theorist dude. Think of a Kanye West fan, and you basically have his character. Okay, I'm joking. He's not as bad as a Kanye West fan. He's not a literal Nazi, but his character says shit that sounds deep, but clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and it's hilarious to hear him speak because he comes off as so pretentious. I've met people like this character in real life, and I've hated them in real life as well. So it's a lot of fun to see that personified, and seeing Lady Bird fall for that and fall for his kind of alluring, strange, bad boy nature, because that's all it is. She goes from falling from this wholesome, Catholic, nice theater kid to going to the exact opposite of the spectrum on that. So that's clearly just a part of Lady Bird's character arc where she's trying to pretend to be something she's not. Throughout this second half of the film, after meeting Timothée Chalamet's character, Lady Bird tries to become basically one of the popular cool girls. Like I said, she's trying to be something she's not. So she befriends the main popular cool girl, Jenna, who's not like a Regina George type. She's a more realistic version of that, in all honesty. Jenna's just extremely popular and kind of devious for a Catholic school, and is talking about all these things and all these. Jenna's on some weird freaky high school timing. I don't know. I wasn't doing that. But Jenna and Lady Bird start getting close, and Lady Bird just starts straight up capping about every aspect of her life to these people to make herself seem cooler than she actually is. Like, she tells Jenna that Danny's grandparents' house, which is like a big blue mansion, which is actually seen at the beginning of the film and comes back several times, which I also love. She lies, saying that that's where she lives, and eventually Jenna goes there, sees that that's not actually the case. And once that happens, a lot of her relationships, especially like false relationships with these popular kids, Jenna specifically, starts to fall apart, because Jenna is like, you lied to me about something stupid like where you live. Why would you even do that? And Lady Bird is completely like, oh, I don't know. when she knows entirely she was just trying to be cool for some reason instead of just being herself. Because Lady Bird is a cool ass character. Lady Bird is another character I feel like if I was in high school with, I would be cool with. I'd probably be dating, like I said, Julie, and be cool with Lady Bird. I could see myself doing that. Actually, I feel like I should just plug myself out of existence and put myself into this movie's universe in 2002. I feel like I'd have a lot of fun at that school. Like, I'd have a good time. Julie would have not been alone at prom if I was there. I'm just gonna say that. I am simping so crazy right now for a fictional character. Continuing. But Lady Bird's relationship with Jenna completely falls apart, and Jenna basically says, hey, I guess we're still friends if you're still Kyle's boyfriend. Kyle is Timothée Chalamet's character. Just remember that. So what happens is, for some reason, Lady Bird decides to go over to Kyle's place. Not for some reason. Lady Bird basically just gives herself over to Kyle completely. And by gives herself over, I mean loses her virginity to him, not knowing that he's not a virgin. So she thinks that he was a virgin, but he isn't. It's a whole mishap. Some douchebag shit, basically. And after they finish doing it, Kyle's like, oh, nah, my fault. Like, I didn't tell you I wasn't a virgin. Or he was like, no, I didn't tell you I was a virgin, when he did, like, a few scenes ago. Bro's just a liar, basically, essentially. That's all it is. After that, Lady Bird's mom shows up to pick her up from Kyle's house, and Lady Bird just collapses, crying in her mom's arms. And her mom's like, do you want to just go and do our favorite Sunday activity? They go and do their favorite Sunday activity, which is just looking at open houses. It's pretty chill. But what's been going on in the background during a lot of these scenes, especially at this point, because like I said, the movie kind of unfolds over the span of a couple months, so a lot of stuff is moving rather quickly. Lady Bird's applying for colleges and enlisting the help of her dad because her mom doesn't support her going out of state to New York because of their money situation. So her dad is filling out all the financial stuff privately without, like, behind her mom's back, which is one of the main conflicts or one of the main things going on in this film. Because like I said, Lady Bird's main goal is to leave Sacramento, is to leave her home. She's like a bird migrating away, which I think is intentional. I think Greta Gerwig did that on purpose. But as we'll see later on, just like a bird, she eventually has to come back to her home or has some longing connection to her home, which we see at the film's close, which is beautiful. There's also a scene I missed that happens a little bit before, like, I don't know how I forgot to mention this because this is one of the most emotionally powerful scenes in the movie. This happens a little bit before Lady Bird actually, like, fully joins the popular kid group. Danny pulls up to the coffee store and Danny is, like, apologizing to her for everything and really just breaking down because he's in the closet, and then he collapses into Lady Bird and they hug each other while he's crying. It's really fucking well acted. Lucas Hedges, I love Lucas Hedges, I'm not gonna lie. He's really good in Moonrise Kingdom when he's like a little ass boy, in mid-90s when he's like an abusive older brother, and in this movie he has a lot of range. Now that I think of it, that's wow. Lucas Hedges is, and he's good in Waves, bro. Put Lucas Hedges in a Marvel movie or something. Don't do that, actually. No, I do that. After the whole sex fiasco with Kyle and Lady Bird losing her virginity and everything, Lady Bird eventually, on prom night, realizes I kind of fucking hate these people, because she's in the car. Her favorite song comes on. Her and Julie's favorite song comes on the radio. Kyle's like, this song is fucking ass. And everyone else in the car is like, do you guys just want to not go to prom? Lady Bird's like, no, I want to go to prom. Drop me off. I'm gonna go see my best friend. So they drop Lady Bird off at Julie's place, and this is the first time they're interacting since Lady Bird quit theater. And Julie and Lady Bird, actually, they go to prom together in a really wholesome scene. Like I said earlier, if I was at the high school, Julie would not be at prom alone. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, they share a really sweet moment outside of prom where they just hug and talk about college and where they're going, because Lady Bird is gonna go to New York. And then after that, we flash forward probably like a week or two, and then they graduate high school. And when they graduate, they go to a dinner. Lady Bird and her family go to a dinner. Lady Bird, Miguel, who's Lady Bird's brother. I don't know how I forgot to mention Miguel all the way up until now. Miguel is really funny. I think Miguel is adopted by them. It's hinted at, but like it's never fully told to you outright, which is fine. And then there's also, I think her name is Shelly, which is Miguel's girlfriend, who's strange and really fun to follow. But yeah, they're just really interesting side characters. At the dinner, they realize, or fucking Danny comes up out of nowhere talking to Lady Bird about New York. And keep in mind, they've been hiding this from Lady Bird's mom the entire time. So her mom, understandably, flips out, and Lady Bird is cooked. For the rest of the movie, Lady Bird's mom gives Lady Bird the silent treatment. The entire summer, they don't talk at all. Lady Bird works, gets her driver's license. We flash forward through a lot of events. And then come the end of the summer, it's time for Lady Bird to go to college in New York. Her mom drops her off at the airport with her dad, and her mom kind of blows her to the wayside, and Lady Bird's like, you're not gonna walk me inside? Like, I'm going to college, I'm leaving. And her mom's like, no, you're fine. Driving off, her mom breaks down. And this scene apparently was, I heard it on the Blu-ray commentary because I own the Blu-ray, of course. This scene apparently took so much out of the actress that she told the director, I can only do this twice. And you can tell because emotionally it hits. Jon Brion's music hits perfectly. Jon Brion is a great composer, by the way. And the performance matches the moment immaculately. It's great. Anyways, movie ends a bit after that with Lady Bird going to college. When she's in college, she goes to a party, ends up getting drunk as shit at the party after meeting a dude, throws up, goes to the hospital, wakes up the next day, and starts wandering around the city, basically aimlessly. In a moment of reflection, she goes inside of a church because it's Sunday. And when she's in the church, she's reminded of home because she went to a Catholic school. She exits the church, pulls out her phone, calls her mom, or leaves a voicemail, and pours her heart out basically in the last 2 minutes of the film. And then we close on a beautiful last minute shot of just Lady Bird taking the phone away from her ear, and then she lets out a breath, and then the movie ends. Or no, I think she breathes in, and then the movie ends. Because I heard on the commentary, Greta Gerwig said this. Greta specifically said when she draws in that breath, that's the end of that story. And when she lets the breath go, when she breathes out, that's the beginning of an entirely new story, which she's not going to tell. She's going to end it right there. And yeah, that is the plot of Lady Bird. Cool.
I love you!
I love you.
Ryan Coogler, who recently directed Sinners, as we all know, great movie, came out and said recently, he said something along the lines of women are more naturally suited towards directing or filmmaking in general. He said this in support of female filmmakers, of course, because he put himself, women are just sharper and stronger when it comes to those artistic elements. And I feel like Greta Gerwig is the living embodiment of that entire statement. Greta Gerwig, to me, is just one of those filmmakers that has had a strangely very large effect on me, and I don't even notice it. In my approach to just working on my own films or writing, directing, that kind of shit, I pull from a lot of different influences, and Greta Gerwig, Greta Gerwig is just a straight up legend. This being her directorial debut is such a strong way to start off and just completely outlines exactly what the rest of her career is going to look like. But this is just one of those movies. It's a powerhouse on every level. The cinematography is fucking beautiful. The music, Jon Brion is honestly my favorite composer, I think, of all time. His Eternal Sunshine score, his Paranorman score, his work with Mac Miller, love Mac Miller, rest in peace Mac Miller. Jon Brion is just one of those, if you get Jon Brion on something, musically, it's gonna sound fucking beautiful. His music, I think, moves me the most out of any composer I've listened to. And watching this movie, there's dead-ass scenes where the music hits and the camera work hits and the acting hits. The trifecta of shit that all comes out of the director's brain, that it's just perfect. It hits all at once. For example, the scene in the rose garden with, I think it's the character that Lucas Hedges plays. I think his name is Danny. Can't remember off the top of my head. It's him and it's Lady Bird, and they're in the garden together, and it's so romantic and so sweet. It's it's just such a capture of just youth and falling in love. It's a beautiful ass scene, and Jon Brion, like I said, kills it. Everyone in this movie kills it. I say that a lot, but Greta Gerwig straight up just blessed us with this amazing fucking debut of a movie. She knew what she wanted to do, and she came through and she locked in and did it, which is fire. When this movie came out, I was 11 years old. I saw it for the first time in 2018, I think. I was around 12-ish on Amazon Prime. Went through a whole phase for a year, watching just independent films for the first time and experiencing this entire new section of cinema, which I highly recommend. I was all into Marvel, still am. I'm still into the superhero movies and the mainstream stuff, but I think if you're genuinely really interested in filmmaking, it helps to just have a period where you go through films you wouldn't typically watch, stuff that's kind of outside of your comfort zone. And for me, this was the first window into independent films for me, which is kind of my whole life now. It's what I plan on doing before I maybe direct some big thing. But yeah, this movie presents such a beautiful, tender story of a mom and a daughter, and Lady Bird's coming of age specifically. That's her whole coming of age story kind of just revolves around her relationship with her mom. At the end of the day, every scene, every section of the story, act 1, act 2, act 3, they all come back to her and her mother, or a moment she spends with her mother at some point, even though she interacts with friends, lies, does all types of weird stuff, as all teenagers do. Can't remember off the top of my head if Saoirse Ronan, I think that's how you say her name, Saoirse, yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head if this happens every time I'm recording, I can't speak. Can't remember off the top of my head if Saoirse Ronan got an Oscar for this, but if she didn't, it's a fucking fluke. Like it's just a complete pissed opportunity, because her performance as Lady Bird is just filled with the youth and the fucking naivety and the angst that comes from being a teenager, and that's all anchored, like the movie itself is anchored with her performance and the performance of her mother. Can't remember the name of the actress. Every scene between Saoirse Ronan and her, the actress who plays her mother, every scene between both of them is straight fucking electricity. Like the sparks are flying, the chemistry is there, the performances are amazing, and that's only because of the amazing direction of Greta Gerwig. I just have to geek out about this woman real quick. Greta Gerwig, I saw Little Women for the first time a few months ago, and I've seen Barbie. I like Barbie, but it's just kind of her style, Hollywoodized. It's kind of dumbed down a bit. Barbie's not bad though. Greta Gerwig is one of those filmmakers that's here to stay, and whatever she continues to make, whatever she pumps out, I'm gonna be there. She's one of those directors, if I hear her name attached to a project, if I hear her name attached to a project, I'm gonna be there day one. That's just Greta Gerwig. That's my guy. That's my girl. But you, okay, yeah. It's just those two actresses carry this movie. This movie is just carried by strong ass women. That's the key. The two main actresses, the director, all three of them. I can't say this enough. Perfect. It was so chef's kiss. Besides the women in this movie, the performances from the men are obviously amazing. This was actually the first movie I saw Timothée Chalamet in, because I didn't see Beautiful Boy, and I watched this movie for the first time when I was like 12. So when I see Timothée Chalamet, I just kind of thought he was an asshole just based on this movie. I have a friend who really hates Timothée Chalamet. Shout out my boy RJ. Yeah, RJ, you're cool, but Tim, he kills it in this movie. Obviously, Timothée Chalamet is just, he's a GOAT. He's good in a lot of things. No, he's good in fucking everything. I'm glazing him, I'm sorry. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet, he's goated. And he seems like a nice guy in real life. He's just an asshole in this movie. But yeah, besides that, I think I've been yapping for long enough. So let's get to me, the voiceover, so you can stop looking at my handsome face, which you'll see again later in the outro. Bye for now. Okay, so overall, this movie's fucking amazing. Like so many people have said in the past, including me, I love this damn movie. This movie is just extremely emotionally resonant, which I've said throughout this review, I'm pretty sure, but dog, it's just something I have to emphasize. Its emotional core, the relationship between Lady Bird and her mother, and how that relationship ebbs and flows throughout the entire film, is perfectly done, perfectly written, and really well acted. A lot of the scenes between the two actresses is just it's straight perfection. It's amazing to watch. I feel like they both should have won an Oscar. Can't remember if either of them did. If not, they were snubbed completely. But their relationship centers the film completely, and like centers on such a strong foundation emotionally. It kind of makes the film hard to break, and the film doesn't break at all. It feels real and lived in, but not in like a gritty way, in like a hopeful, almost like warm way, because it's a coming of age film. So it's about someone finding themselves and being put into that journey with a person. It feels great, especially with such a great emotional background as this relationship. I heard Greta Gerwig describe the film in the commentary on the Blu-ray that I listened to the other day. I was just rewatching this movie. That's why this review is even being made right now. She describes the film as having a feeling like it's over there. Like it's vibrant, but it's not overpowering. It's not in your face, really. It's subtle, and that makes it feel, that's what gives it weight. That's what makes it feel real to me. Because this film unfolds so fast, yet covers such like a deep amount of time in such a sensitive period in this person's life that it feels like you're there with them. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like there's time in between each scene where the characters are still living their lives. Like I said, the world feels so lived in that when I cut from like a week later to this week, I'm curious. I'm like, what was she doing that week? Or I can imagine her like eating breakfast and like getting ready, or like just because of how palpable this all is. It feels so real. It feels like people I could actually know. I feel like if I went to high school in California, I probably would have met like this cast of characters and just grown with them. Granted, I wasn't really a thought in 2002. I was probably in my dad's balls at the time, but yeah. Overall, this film is permeated with like so much emotion to it. It's hard to describe. This film feels like deeply seated in my veins sometimes. I feel like watching it is just kind of like a surreal emotional experience for me. I don't even know what it did to me when I first saw it when I was like 12. The actors' performances are so fucking amazing that every scene feels like electricity. These teenagers genuinely feel hopeful, but like it's not like a depressing film where like these teenagers are, it like balances the two, right? It's not like overly like, oh, Disney Channel, we're looking forward to the future, and it's not like everything sucks, we're fucking teenagers, and it's directed with such a nice eye into just being young. I love it. I genuinely love that aspect of this movie. Gerwig's direction and writing is like impeccable here, bro. Like this is a directorial debut, and you come out the bat with a coming of age story, which could be very by the numbers and very basic, and you put your own flair on it, still keeping the same initial things that you would associate with a coming of age film, like our character kind of maybe being an asshole or slightly unlikable at some points because she's discovering herself and genuinely doesn't know where she fits in. She knows she wants to leave her hometown, but once she leaves her hometown, the beauty of it all is the fact that she realizes just how connected she was to her hometown. Even her counselors, like the nuns and shit, that teacher, the nun specifically says, you love Sacramento, and she's like, huh? Like, I just live here. Like, I don't love it. But the nun's like, you write about it so affectionately. It's clear that her connection to her home is deeply rooted, which I feel like that translates so well to just any audience member, because I'm sure, I hope at least, your home, wherever it is, whether you're from Florida like me, which is a fucking insane state, wouldn't recommend it, but it's cool sometimes. Not really though. Fuck Ron DeSantis. Anyways, wherever you're from, wherever your home is, I know there's a strong feeling that everyone associates with where they grew up. And this film captures that feeling so perfectly in a cinematic way that just makes me nostalgic, even though I'm not even from California. It's a universal nostalgia of just feeling like you're at home. And when you're away from home, that urge you have to go back, or those memories that constantly creep in. This film, the best way I could describe how it makes me feel is it just feels like a memory. It feels like a point in time that I can't reach again, that I will always love and care about dearly. That's why it works so well for me, because it feels like a memory. That's the best way to describe it. And yeah, I hope at some point in my directing career, as that unfolds in some way, that I'm able to capture a similar feeling to that, or at least make people feel the same way this movie made me feel, because this shit is deep in there. And John Brion, I don't know if John Brion has ever gotten an Oscar for his scores, but if not, get that man his fucking props. I love John Brion so much. There's a lot of love that went into this feature. Clearly, I can tell Greta Gerwig loved every bit of directing this, and I loved every bit of watching this, even though I've seen it like 5 times. So yeah, obviously the rating is gonna have to be a 10 out of 10. That's a no-brainer. But yeah, this movie is just fucking excellent. So I don't know what else you want me to say. It's a great movie. So yeah, let's wrap this up. Cool. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like or subscribe if you want to do that. It's up to you. You have free will. You can do that if you want to. Or you could also check out the other reviews I have on this channel, or the short films, or the skits. Up to you. Really, like I said, you have free will, so do whatever you want. It's cool. Besides that, you can check out my Instagram, where I post professional things I'm working on, as well as other content, which I plan on pumping up a little more. Besides my Instagram, I also have a letterbox where I write movie reviews literally immediately after I see a movie. It's just my thoughts. I pull it out. I pull my cell phone out. I don't pull it out, pause, and then I type a review immediately after the movie's over. Like, while the credits are rolling, I'll literally be typing the review. So yeah. Besides that, I hope you have a good day or good night. And if you love your mom, tell her you love her. If you don't love your mom, find some nurturing woman or person who you care about and say you love them. Cause fuck it. Yeah. Also, we love Lady Bird. If you don't love Lady Bird, you're lame. But yeah. Have a good day or good night. Whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world, just have a good one. So yeah. Bye-bye.